And welcome to the probe. Over 4,000 residents in parts of the Volta region have been forced to abandon their homes due to widespread flooding. Some parts of the eastern and Bono East regions have also been affected. The scale of destruction caused by flood water spill from the Konsobo Dam is staggering, unrelenting and showing no mercy. The deluge has disrupted essential services, leaving some areas without access to water and electricity. It is a battle to save a national asset, the Konsobo Dam, against the preservation of lives and property. Those affected are helpless as they watch their homes and property get consumed by the flood waters. President Akufo-Addo is expected to tour some of the districts affected by the Konsobo Dam spillage on Monday. One question remains: could this have been avoided? So now we probe the issues and explore the options to avoid a recurrence in the future. My guests tonight are members of Parliament for Kita, Kwame Gakpe, who is in the studio here with me, the Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Abla Jifa Gumashi, MP for Pru East, Kwabena Donko, is also a member of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, and Deputy Director General of NADMO, Seji Saji Amedonu. We are live on Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM, and affiliates across the country, myjoyonline.com, and all social media platforms. We are also on DSTV 421 and GoTV 125. Stay for details.
I can't remember the last time since the thing has started. I've never bath because there's nowhere you fetch the water to bath. Even the water that you can't even fetch, not to talk of bathing. That's the whole thing. And some of the ladies, they are in their menses, and how they will bath, change themselves, nothing. They can't do anything. So maybe they'll be in one part. As I'm talking to you now, me myself, I'm also a victim.
Our farms are flooded. We came home and our homes are flooded too.
The effect of the spillage from the VRA dam submerged most of our facilities. And as a result of that, we have to ask the students to go home.
We have become miserable. We can't even sleep over fears our houses may collapse. We just stay up all night.
It was May 23rd. Before we woke up, we realized that we are surrounded by water. After 2 days, it was west. So we decided to wait and see if things will be better. But all along, from that May till today, this is the situation in which we are. So early June, I have to move my family to a lodge, which is at the roadside.
I would say since about 1996 that way. It's a seasonal thing, but coming every seasons. And from June that way it's come. When it's come like this, our schools have been closed. People have not have chance to go to school because it crossed the school road side, so that people cannot move to the school. So we close the school down. Yes, we just stay to manage. When it goes, then we start our jobs activities. Yes. When it comes, it take about 3 months or 4 months.
We have become miserable. We can't even sleep over fears our houses may collapse. We just stay up all night. It's been 1 month since our houses were taken over by the floods. We need help. We are suffering and we are looking up to God.
But ye wakrum ebe hwe de anyakopo beye na nsonu beko.
So welcome back. Those were scenes from some parts of the Volta region where flood waters is causing more damage to their homes and property. Now, as you may be aware, there is a statement from the Information Ministry signed by Kojo Nkrumah, and government has put together an interministerial committee to address the Volta Dam spillage that we're going to talk about this evening on the probe. The Chief of Staff is chairing this committee together with the Minister for National Security, Minister for Interior, Minister for Defense, Minister for Energy, Finance, Local Government, Works and Housing, Roads and Highways, Environment, Sanitation, Lands and Natural Resources, and Information. And tomorrow, President Akufo-Addo, who's just back in the country from the United States of America, will undertake a tour of some of the districts affected by the flooding. But in the studio, as we look into the issues, we are trying to look at how best we can find a solution to that, so that next year we'll not have to revisit this matter. Kwame Gapwe is the Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Kita South, and then we'll also be joined via Zoom by Ablaji Fakumashi, Member of Parliament for Pu East, Kwabena Donko, and then of course the Deputy Director General of NADMO, Seji Saji Ahmed-Donu. Kwame, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So paint a picture for us. You were in the constituency and you witnessed how devastating the floodwater has been in the area. Paint a picture for us. How is it looking, and how are people coping with the devastation caused to their property and lives?
So sad. You know, you can imagine your parents, your siblings are sleeping in their rooms. All of a sudden, by the time they wake up, I mean, water have taken over every place. Old ladies have to be submerged in the water. I mean, it's very devastating. And then, you know, before I even move on, you read a communique which stated some ministries,
yes,
where the Minister for Information signed the interministerial committee. Look at that list critically. We are in the state of emergency where flood is all over. Outbreak of diseases, waterborne diseases, is something we should look at. Look at the list whether Minister of Health is there.
Unfortunately, there's no Minister of Health mentioned in this document.
So this is an emergency situation. So clearly you see that list is wobbly. They are not even thinking about even the health aspect of the disaster. Look, take a critical look at it. Do we have Ministry of Education over there?
There's also no Ministry of Education.
So do you know schools have to shut down right now as I speak to you?
But clearly this is quite representative.
No, but
this is government approach at dealing with this
health is
matter.
very critical. So the health minister is supposed to be part. But this is one of the wish. I mean, it's the normal as usual. It's a list that I don't see this committee put up, ministerial committee. What are they going to do? If you are a serious country, you should have preparedness plan for emergency.
But we have the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, the president, who himself has said that we'll be visiting the area tomorrow. Obviously, once he's there, all the concerns you are talking about, I'm sure he represents everybody. He represents all the ministries, he represents all the agencies, and of course, whatever he will say tomorrow, obviously, will be something that will help address the matter going forward.
Good, but at the end of the day, this flooding issue started 3 years ago. Last year was so bad, and this year was worse. So all along, don't we have the president in this country? We have. He's the chief of defense staff and the commander of the Ghana Armed Forces, and he's the president. So he can actually call other countries. As a president, you need to empathize with the people. Have you seen any communique from the presidency to empathize with the people?
But he's going there tomorrow.
No, it's too late.
And he's going to meet with the people.
It is too late.
He's going to look at the scale of devastation caused by the flood.
3 years. 3 years. It's taking this president 3 years. Monday before he's visiting.
But he's represented by the regional minister and the other agencies in the region. You don't necessarily have to see the president at every event to drum home the point that he is, to borrow your own words, empathizing with the people.
So even empathizing with the people using writing, he can tweet. In other countries, Morocco, Israel, and then when disaster happened in Sierra Leone, they were able to mobilize resources to those countries. What have happened to Volta region? Who takes our resources, levy, tax, and aid company? Who takes them? Is it not the central government who collects our levy, tax, and everything?
Yes.
So he should be responsible. As I speak to you, you are talking about NADMO. NADMO don't have a dime. NADMO is broke. They don't have a dime. Why am I saying this? Because they're supposed to release funding for NADMO. As I speak to you, when they collect all taxes, revenue, levies, the central government take 95% of the total money generated. Are you getting the point? And the 5% is sent to Common Fund Secretariat. So let's say if they send you 400 million Ghana cedis, only 5%, even sometimes not even up to 5%, will be distributed to district assemblies and then all that.
Right.
And then for municipal and district assembly. Are you getting the point? They're supposed to take part of some of those resources for NADMO too, in terms of emergency like this, so that they can actually do the needful. As I'm speaking to you right now, NADMO have no money, and then they can't do anything.
But let's talk about the flooding situation in the region, in your constituency.
Yes.
How did we get here?
How did we get? Because of not being responsible and then lack of planning. To mean that. Because, for instance,
my understanding is that prior to the spillage, VRA engaged the communities, engaged members of parliament, the district assembly. So clearly there was a plan ahead.
There was no engagement with members of which members of parliament? I'm a member of parliament, and my constituency is part of this. So I was not engaged.
There was no engagement.
There was no engagement.
There was no public education.
No, there was
of this.
No engagement. As I speak to you, there was no engagement.
So you had no warning.
No. Even Meteorological Service Department. No warning saying that this year there will be spillage of water from the dam. Nobody have given us that information. So there is no warning. So for VRA, even to spill the water at the end of the day, when they are in the crisis that they have to spill the water at the end of the day, it's too late. So if I'm encouraging our indigents, especially the voter region, we need to sue VRA.
That is what you intend doing?
Yes, we need to do that.
For what?
No, for them, look at the property, life and property. People's property, look at the visuals, without even giving them any information.
I'm finding it difficult to accept this point, because all along we've been told, in fact, NADMO spoke to us last Friday, the VRA deputy CEO also spoke to us, and they all made a point that prior to the spillage of the water, there had been series of public education, there's been series of engagements, and the understanding was that people had been warned ahead of the spillage. So this that we are seeing, in fact, at some point, the NADMO director told us that the failure on their part was not undertaking forceful evacuation.
Let me tell you, you are a credible, fearless station. You have the pedigree. If there is community sensitization in these communities, your FM would have picked some intel. Are you aware? I'm a member of parliament for Keta. I'm not aware. No sensitization. So which community? They should inform us. There is no information, no community engagement. I'm telling you on authority, because I'm a member of parliament and no engagement from members of parliament, as well as my community. I'm in a community. I have been in this community since we went on recess. I've been there for 9 weeks now. Because of your program, I came this morning. So what are you talking about? If they are really community engagement, I should be aware.
So the position that the community has taken now is a class action against VRA.
Yes.
You are suing them for compensation.
I say we have to do the needful, because there is no sensitization. I'm telling you, it's factual. I'm being truthful to you, because if that is the case, why should all of a sudden look at how people are being evacuated by NADMO itself. Look at it. So if VRA is doing a community entry sensitization and then NADMO is not aware, is that what they are saying? NADMO and VRA should work together. Is that how it's supposed to be? Because NADMO they are in charge in terms of disaster. So if issues like this, like spillage will happen in Akosomo Dam, they're supposed, ideally, to actually inform the community. So they should do it together. Are you getting the point? So, but we are in the midst of disaster before they are even informing us. So what are we talking about?
All right. Let me bring in the Deputy Director General of NADMO, Mr. Seji, who is joining us via Zoom. Seji Saji Amedonu. Mr. Amedonu, good evening and welcome to the probe here on JoyNews. So we don't have him yet. We'll get back to it. We'll also be joined by the Member of Parliament for Pru East, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, and of course, all right, so let me go on the phones and speak to Mr. Seji Saji Amedonu. Mr. Amedonu, good evening and welcome to the probe here on JoyNews. Mr. Amedonu, if you can hear me, good evening and welcome to the probe here on JoyNews. Please, if you can unmute so that we can hear you, Mr. Amedonu. Yes, if you can hear me, good evening and welcome to the probe here on JoyNews. Dr. Kwabena Donkor is also a member of Parliament for Pru East in the Bone East region. His area is also affected by this flood waters. Dr. Kwabena Donkor, good evening and welcome to the probe here on JoyNews. Doctor, if you can unmute for us so we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Right. So, Doctor, until this evening, I didn't know that parts of Pru East has also been affected by the flood water spill from the Akosombo Dam. How devastating is this in your constituency? If you can update us on what is happening.
Elton, there has been a lot of skewed reportage on this issue. Indeed, the areas that have been affected south of the Akosombo Dam are only the latest. Areas north of the Akosombo Dam were affected earlier. And we experienced flooding. Some communities had to move almost a month ago in Pru East. And it's not just Pru East. If you go to Karachi in Chumuru, if you go to Karachi East, if you go to Karachi West, if you go to the Panda district, parts of Panda district, for example, the Lonto Salaga road has been cut off, except by the lake, that there is no vehicular traffic. In a place like Futudeke in the Pru East, the whole community has been evacuated. If you go to Mupeko Sogu, along the Volta Lake, all the communities have been affected. And the devastation has been huge. Unfortunately, those of us north of the Volta have not even received a mention in the media.
So, if I may ask, Dr. Kobra-Donko, clearly some work was done ahead of the spillage that affected your constituency and the other areas that you mentioned.
No, let me clarify this. We have not been affected by the spillage from the reservoir at Akosombo.
Okay.
We have been affected by the flooding of the Volta River and its tributaries.
Right.
OT, etc. Remember, the Volta takes its source northwest. And so we are the first casualties of the flooding. The Volta River has swelled beyond its normal traditional boundaries. Communities around the Volta Lake have lost homes. Fishermen along the Volta Lake, in particular, north of Akosombo, have been seriously affected. There are communities in Pru East that have had to totally move away from their community and their livelihood to higher grounds.
Were the people warned? Were they warned ahead of the flooding? Did they have prior information?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So therefore, how are they coping in the midst of this, situation that they find themselves?
They are coping extremely poorly. First of all, most of them are fishermen. Others are farmers who farm along the Volta Lake. All their farms are flooded. They are unable to go to fishing. Some of them, they've had to move physically from their homes. And they are patching with relatives and friends. And it is not just in Pru East. In Pru East alone, I can count at least 5 communities that have been heavily affected. Fantier, Kura, Tonka, Futudeke, Brekente, Yejinsuano, Pentecost area, have all been affected. People have had to move. You see, we have a challenge as a people. There is a policy challenge.
Doctor, I will come to the issue about the dam itself, because you once served as Minister for Power. This is your area, so obviously the issue about technology and how best we can deal with this, we can deal with the excess water is an issue that we'll come to. But let's deal with the effects of the flooding in your area before we go into what can be done going forward. I want to find out, so help is not coming to your people, is that what you are saying?
Absolutely not. We now have information that the Chief of Naval Staff and a team will be visiting our area and have an aerial view using a helicopter. We've just picked up that information. Absolutely. Unfortunately for us, the district assembly is incapacitated by lack of resources.
It appears to be almost everywhere in terms of the catchment areas.
Yes. And NADMO in Pru East, even if they have the will, they don't have the resources, they don't have the means. So people have had to rely on the community solidarity to survive.
To survive, okay. Doctor, hold that for me. We'll come and deal with the issues going forward and how best we can address this matter so that we don't have a recurrence in the future. Let me also bring in a member of parliament for Ketu Sarabla, Gifa Gumashi, who is also joining us via Zoom. Honorable member, good evening and welcome to the program on JoyNews. If you can kindly unmute for me so we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear now. So, in your case, from the tidal waves, and now we are having to deal with the spillage that is causing so much destruction in the constituency. It's Sunday. Those who've been affected, how are they going to spend the night?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear Honorable. I was asking, it's Sunday, the time is 8:23, and I was asking, in your case, you had to deal with the tidal waves, and now you are dealing with flood waters that is coming from the Konsombo Dam. Almost 8:30. Those affected, how are they going to spend the night tonight? Well, I guess you have to unmute for me so that we can hear you properly. All right, so Honorable Gapiso, Dr. Konadonko's case is also a different matter, but clearly help is also not coming. In your case, has help come? But you hold on that thought for me. Let me bring in the Deputy MD of NADMO, the Deputy Director General of NADMO, Mr. Seji Medono. Mr. Seji, if you can hear me, welcome to the program on JoyNews.
Thank you, and good evening to you and your caring viewers, and
so,
my co-panelists as well.
Yes, you're welcome. So, one issue that is running through the discussion we're having this evening is the inadequacy of the response that is expected to meet the demands of people affected from parts of the Volta region all the way to part of the Eastern region. Now we have been told also improve in the Bono East region. Is not more in a position to help at least alleviate the immediate plight of people who are badly in need of help?
Thank you very much. But that is actually what NADMO is involved in. As I speak to you, I'm in the Emergency Operations Center at North Town, where we are coordinating all relief efforts and support to all affected communities downstream the Volta Dam. I think that is what the discussion should focus on rather than complaining and all that. We have a serious challenge along the coastal belt of this country. It's a bigger discussion. I'm a citizen of this place. I come from Kenya. I have suffered this as I grew up. So it's a bigger challenge. It is not a challenge of this has not done this person has not done that. Looking into the future, it is something, a conversation that we must have as a country, how to deal with our coastal issue.
Absolutely.
From Atlao right to Edubo. But as I speak to you, my preoccupation here is to make sure that I get relief for the people affected by the Volta Dam spilling.
And you have the relief for them?
The situation is unfolding, and we are still in the midst of trying to deal with the situation. We have managed to move a lot of people to safe haven. Some people have moved to their relatives in the communities, and we are trying to reach them with help. We have a lot of challenges to help, public health challenges in need. This is the kind of conversation we should be having. When we are able to handle this situation, then we can then go on to the issue of the medium to long term. And then maybe we can start blaming or appointing. But as we speak, I will employ everybody speaking on this matter today to find ways and means to assist the victims of the Volta Dam spilling.
So how are you assisting them, Mr. Amedono? How are you assisting them?
Well, what we have done is that we have tried to move a lot of people to safe haven, and we are still in the process of doing that because the spilling is still going on at the same rate. The Volta River Authority has announced that this will go on for about a week. We have sent information to all communities downstream the Volta Dam that if the water hasn't reached where you are, if you are close to the banks of the river, the water will certainly get to where you are. So we urge you to voluntarily evacuate. If we get to find out that you are not evacuating, we might employ compulsory evacuation to evacuate you to safe haven. Your life is important to this country, and we must make sure that we protect each and every single person. And that is what we are engaged in.
So are you saying that people are so reluctant to move, even as we watch these disturbing pictures?
That we have stocked in all the regions. Yesterday night, I did a presentation of relief items, 3 districts yesterday. That is Ketu South, Keta, and Nagnoga at the district assembly of Nagnoga, a track road office yesterday in the evening to be distributed to victims.
All right. So I was asking, at this stage, are people still reluctant to move?
Well, you know how, as a people, we are emotionally attached to where we come from and all that. And we also have this attitude of wait and see. I can tell you that since last year, NADMO has been working closely with the VRD. We even did a full-scale simulation exercise in all 9 districts downstream the Volta Dam. The Volta River Authority has an emergency preparedness plan. That plan has protocols and standard operating procedures that figures in the event of a disaster.
Right.
We simulated all that, and this happened, and we followed all the protocols. I heard one of my analysts saying that he had no information. Maybe he doesn't understand how the assembly system works. The system is triggered by notification to the chief executive of the assembly, who happens to be the chairman of the disaster management committee. The disaster management committee has all heads of agencies in the central district. You know how assemblies work. They work through assemblymen.
Okay.
As I'm responding to this situation, we are working through all assemblymen in this district. Assemblymen get the information and inform their people. It is just that in this particular instance, the rate of spill increased drastically from last Monday, because Water River Authority started spilling since on the 15th. They spilled for 2 weeks. In the 3rd week, they had to increase dramatically just because of the heavy inflows coming upstream the dam, which Dr. Benford has alluded to.
Yes.
We can just imagine if we didn't have that all water, which is nature, is natural, and we know the climate change situation in the world as we speak, that water will have been coming down like that, and we can just imagine the effect that would have been happening. All
right. So Mr. Medonu, you've mentioned, for example, that you've distributed some relief items to some of those badly affected. Can you walk us through some of the items that you've given them? You mentioned Ketu, for example.
We actually, well, this is how we operate. We normally start with doing a search and rescue. We normally start with doing search and rescue, then do what we call a rapid assessment. Then that gives us the needs, immediate needs that we need to give to the people. So we have provided some food and non-food items.
Okay.
And the non-food items, I'm talking about blankets, I'm talking about mattresses, mosquitoes, mosquito coil, mosquito nets. We have provided bowls, carbs, buckets. Then food items, we have provided some fish, some gari, some beans. We have provided maize, we have provided oil.
Okay.
There are lots of things we are distributing.
And you've also provided a place for them to sleep.
We are trying to reach almost everybody that have been affected.
All right, please hold on for me. The Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Abla Jifa Gumashi, is also joining us via phone. Honorable, good evening and welcome. You heard the NADMO Deputy Director General. He says that your constituency has been catered for in the relief items that have been provided. Can you confirm this for us?
Good evening to you, my co-panelists, and your listeners. I feel very sorry for the NADMO coordinator who is speaking to you. I feel so sorry for him. He has the most difficult job this week to try and convince me and all the people in Ketu South including my assembly members, to convince us that we have done something here in this community. That's a Herculean task you have. Look, from September, what we are facing here doesn't start just because of the spillage. We've had issues with rain, too much rain. We've had issues with the lagoons, the wetlands being full to the brink. We have issues of now the spillage, and then the problem with people who have built in the waterways. At what point from September to today that we are speaking, the NADMO coordinator here of our plight, that he's not telling me who is living here. I'm speaking to you from Kati South. Today, I have gone around my community, still encouraging the people and empathizing with them and encouraging them. Nobody has told me that you have bought anything. Look, you have an issue. You have a problem. I've been asking the state, the Republic of Ghana, through the finance minister, to resource NADMO because he has collapsed NADMO. And you are here telling us that you have brought blankets and food. So, what are you doing?
So, Honor, are you saying that you've not received any?
They haven't received anything. I said I was with assembly members. 2 assembly members today. We have gone around this constituency. The Blekusu area, which shares a boundary with Gakpa, my brother Gakpa sitting with you. I was in that community with the assembly member for that area, and one from VFS, which is VFS is in Aflau, but they are also suffering from the floods because of the salt company's work. You know, they built all these dikes in the lagoon, so the water is not flowing. That's also another issue. So I went with them. None of them has anything from NADMO. What they brought last month was 10 Wellington boots for a community where they themselves have listed over 500 people. They brought 10 Wellington boots, some plastic plates and plastic cups. And you are giving me this tall list of things that you said you brought when? When exactly were the things brought?
Let me allow him to respond to this question. Mr. Amedonu, what's your response?
Thank you very much. I think that we are mixing up all the issues. As we speak now, are we not dealing with the issue of the spillage of the dam? I think that was the information I was given to talk about for this program. There are 9 districts downstream the Volta Dam. And we have 4 of them in the Volta region, which is North Tong, Central Tong, South Tong, and Anglong. It used to be Keta, when Keta and Anglong was one district. But when it was divided, it is now Anglong that is part of the district downstream the Volta Dam. In the eastern region, we have 2. We have Sujaman and Lower Manya. Then in Greater Accra, we have Ada East, Adam West, and Shai Usuduku. As we speak, 8 of the 9 districts I have just mentioned have been affected by an ongoing situation. We are not talking about the tidal wave that has been hitting my own community called Keji since I was born close to 50 years ago. I am talking about an unfolding situation that we need to deal with. I will want my law to for us.
I think her question was about the relief items that you spoke about earlier. Yes.
Is that there is no agency in Ghana as we speak today who is not having challenges with funding. And NADMO is not an exception. But what government has to do to come to the plight of people who are suffering as we speak, government is undertaking that. We can't say that it is sufficient. We are calling on everybody, including all the MPs there, to come and assist us, to help our own people out. When we finish, we can start blaming, talking about who did what, being sorry for who. But let's deal with the situation now. I am sad as I'm here. I came here on Friday just to return. I can't even go back because when I go around the community, I shed tears. So please, the situation is still unfolding. Let's all have be on deck. When we finish, let's pray that we don't lose any soul. As for property, we have lost a lot.
Okay.
I would just urge everybody for us to focus.
Mr. Madano, so the issue going forward, the issue going forward is how to address this matter in the immediate terms. From NADMO's own perspective, I know that President Akufo-Addo is expected in the community tomorrow. There's been a setup of an interministerial committee that is coordinating efforts to address this matter. From NADMO's perspective, what do you have on your plan, immediacy, to address these things? Once we look at the bigger picture and looking at how to go about how to go around this matter so that we don't revisit it in the future.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, so Mr. Seji, I was asking, I mean, for the immediacy in terms of what we can do for the people. You've mentioned about the items that you've sent around to ensure that they have some kind of semblance of life as we look at the bigger picture. The government has set up a committee. There's an interministerial committee that is coordinating efforts to address this matter. President Akufo-Addo himself will be there tomorrow. From NADMO's own analysis and what he intends to do going forward, the plan, let's say for the next 1 month, how are you hoping to be responsive in terms of from your own angle so that people can have at least some kind of relief for themselves? Well, I think you can hear. So let me bring in, yes.
Right?
Yes,
and we are
Mr.
dealing
Yes.
with the issues as they come up.
Yes, okay.
We are dealing with the issues as they come up. As we speak, we have challenges of power, we have challenges of water, and we are trying to resolve that. We are also working on trying to resolve public health issues that might come up. The regional health team, the district health team, and the VRA health team, and the NADMO health department are working together to see how best they can try and prevent the outbreak of diseases.
And that's very, very important.
As we do the assessment, we try to respond and meet the needs of the victims. And as I continue saying, the system, the situation is not over yet. We are still getting in more victims. I just came from one community where we had to rescue a number of people. I have been putting out 7 safe havens. Just this evening, we have created 2 more safe havens. We are hoping that the rate at which VRA is spilling will go down so that the water will start receding and we start dealing with all the other issues. But as we speak, we will call on any well-meaning Ghanaian anywhere to come and help the citizens that have been affected in all these communities down the Volta Dam. And I think that government is doing its best to make sure that it comes to address the plight of the people.
Right, thank you very much. Deputy Director General of NADMO, Mr. Saji Amedono. And we've been looking at the flooding situation, of course, in parts of the Volta region. And of course, now we are told that the ripple effects that we are witnessing in the Bono East region, and of course, some parts of the Eastern region as well. I will come into the studio because the Mr. Kwame Gape is here with me. But let me deal quickly with Dr. Kwabena Donko. Doctor, you are still here with me on the pause.
Yes.
Yes. So you.
No, if you just bear with me for a second.
Sure.
Isn't it sad that the Deputy Director General, throughout his presentation, his conversation, never mentioned north of the Volta Dam? Flooding occurs north of the Volta Dam. The south of the Volta Dam only takes the effect after the north has been flooded. So the flooding started earlier, but probably we are not important. Our part, we are not important. And the media is also culpable. Attention was never drawn to the flooding that was taking place in parts of Savannah, in parts of Bono East, in parts of Northern region. It only became an issue when the spill effect was experienced in the South. I think the people north of the dam have been unfairly treated even as we go through this disaster.
But Doctor, have you made representation to the NADMO in the region and maybe
absolutely,
as well?
Absolutely.
And what has been the response?
Absolutely.
I know you are a very influential member of parliament. What about the ministry?
No, absolutely. My district chief executive, my NADMO team. You see, we have a presence in NADMO has a presence in every district.
Yes.
And it's symptomatic that the Deputy Director General did not even recognize, even in his intervention, that there was a challenge north of the dam.
Is it a case that they're overwhelmed or is simply negligence?
That is what saddens me.
Is it a case that they are overwhelmed or it's just a matter of just being negligent?
No, it started north of the dam. You see, the lake has to be filled first before it is spilled. It started north of the dam. And yet, NADMO did not think it necessary. Probably we do not belong to the Republic of Ghana. For NADMO to consider our people as worthy of assistance or as worthy of even engagement.
Doctor, I'll seek your professional expertise on the way forward, but let me bring in Honorable Jifa Blagomeshi and, of course, Kwame Gape. Kwame, you've heard the NADMO Deputy Director General.
You know, you can see from the Deputy Director General is just window dressing the issues. The facts still remain, they are not, they are unplanned, they didn't plan work properly. And then,
but you said that there was simulation exercise. Oh, I mean, responding to your earlier, comments that there was nothing like that.
Do you know simulation exercise happen in Akosombo or anywhere? But I'm talking about my constituency. If you look at the constituency they listed, they say 8 excluded. They exclude Keta and then as well as Ketusaf. Meanwhile, we are the end receiver of the spillage. As I speak to you, the whole Keta Lagoon, the Keta Lagoon received the tributaries come to the Keta Lagoon, and now you have flooded the whole place. When you look at Abu Jakopa, Jalukopa, the lagoon side, they are all flooded all the way to Aflau. And then here we are. NADMO say they are bringing relief item. Which relief item? Even my intel I pick, they took only 120 bags of rice to Angloga and claimed that they will be. Do you remember initially he made mention of 3 constituencies? Yes. They distributed 120 bags of rice, 40 each for each constituency. NADMO of people. So
and then how many people are we talking about who have been displaced?
I mean, over 4,000. NADMO took only 120 bag of rice to the whole, even the former president, John Ramani Mahama, brought 600 bags of rice to the 3 constituencies. Now you are bringing 120 and NADMO, statutory organization. So they don't have money. NADMO is broke. Let's call a spade a spade. They don't have money. So they should be candid with Ghanaians and then say the truth and see the way forward, how we will help them. So they shouldn't be window dressing the issue. The facts still remain that they don't have resources. And then now they are calling on the Ghanaians. Yes, the Ghanaians will come to help at this time because our relations are there, our relatives are there. But as a member of parliament, the taxes, the duties, they come to the member of parliament.
It goes to the central government.
It's not central government. So the central government should be seen being responsible. I can tell you on authority that the central government is irresponsible at this time.
That is it. All right. Honorable Abla Gifa Gumashi, as member of parliament at this very moment, it must be a very tiring job for you. But you heard the NADMO speak. President Akufo-Addo is expected in the community to vote. What do you expect from them?
You see, I wish that we have 1 more hour to do this response to NADMO. When I say he has a difficult job, I mean it. He has a very, very difficult job. If you say that is tidal wave, then why did you say add us to the list of people that you brought the food to? Who mentioned tidal wave? Who is talking about tidal wave? I am saying to him, I'm talking to you as the member of parliament for people in distress. I am telling you that the things that have happened here that you need to respond to as NADMO, you have failed. And I'm appealing to the state to give you funding. You are telling me that I'm talking about tidal wave. In any case, what's wrong with talking about tidal wave? Look, if you don't know, Keta Basin includes Anglo and Ketu South and beyond. So if you didn't check through East and what Honorable Kwabena Donkor is talking about, you didn't check from the top, you didn't check from the middle. Ablakwa said you didn't do any information to him either. I heard Ablakwa, he and I were on the same program where he said that he was not informed as a member of parliament. You didn't even check the exit of the water you were releasing. All these places are flooded. I said that the Keta Basin with Anglo and Keta itself. I didn't say that tidal waves is the reason why we are flooded. I gave you different scenarios, all leading to the flooding situation. I'm looking at the picture holistically. So if your focus is only on the spillage, you've got it wrong, sir. The water came from the top to fill the Akosombo Dam to a point where it cannot contain it, and instead of the Akosombo Dam, you fill the water without making sure you had cleared the path for the water, leading to this devastation that we are seeing. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I have in front of me the World Bank document on West Africa Coastal Area Development Project. That document mentioned years ago that we were going to have problems because of climate change and global warming. And you're sitting here talking to me about just the spillage. You cannot solve a problem with looking at it piecemeal. That's what I'm telling you. And you have a very difficult job. And take my advice. You cannot look at the spillage of the water as if it is only the 4 communities around Sogakofa. If you do that, we will have more problems. Listen to us. We are representatives of the people. We are telling you what our people are facing. We are on the ground. And as for crying, hey, boss, you cannot cry more than Jifagobashi, can you? You can join the crying brigade because Honorable Bajra yesterday was crying when he saw the plight of the people. So your crying doesn't solve any problem for me. Mine doesn't solve any problem. What's important is that you need resources to bring relief to the people, and it should be done now.
Is that what we expect from President Akufo-Addo tomorrow? That it shouldn't just be a visit, but a visit that should come with something concrete to help alleviate the plight of the people?
Yes. You see, we cannot look at this whole thing without looking at the global effect, the climate change that's affecting all of us. If you don't look at it in its totality, you will be solving problems in Sogakofa, and Pru is to be crying, and Aflau will be crying, and Agbozume is crying, and Kata is crying. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's a hydra-headed problem. All of them culminating in the biodiversity changing, the water levels changing. Human activity is also playing a part. You must look at this holistically. That's why that committee that has been formed should have had the regional minister of the Volta region, Eastern region, and Honorable Kwabena Donkor.
Bono East region.
Bono East. They should have, all of those people should go and sit in that committee and tell them what we have been telling them as representatives of the people. Oh, come on.
Right.
The World Bank document is there. It's with you. WACA document is with you. It has spelled out clearly what we should expect. And it's not going to get any better. Don't look at just the 4 communities that because you are broke, all you want to do is narrow it down so that your resources can reach a few people. And you are singing a song of you have this and you have given that. Come on, stop that.
Right.
Stop that. Where the water started from, where the dam is, and where the water is supposed to enter the sea. It's a continuum. You have to look at it all together.
Right. So let me pause you there and let me take our viewers to Mepe. My colleague, Avi Sotoji, was there to bring us this report.
That here we have to use torchlights to see the room. This is RC School in Mepe, right? Yes, this is one of the schools. The affected residents are lodging for the meantime, and some of them are sleeping. Some are outside waiting, maybe till morning. We saw some men earlier in the day who told us that they will just be walking along the road until it's morning. That has been a normal thing. But we have some women here whose children are sleeping. They are here. I would like to speak with a few of them and see. But good evening. Good evening.
Everything is messed up. The place is clumsy, and we sleep at the mercy of mosquitoes. We cook and bath outside. Finding a place to ease yourself is very difficult. You have to walk for a long time before getting a place. We have been here for 3 days, and our home is still underwater. The officials brought us rice in the morning and kinky this evening. We just want something to be done about the situation so we can go back home.
Since the emergence of the flood, houses have been submerged, so accommodation for people have become so difficult that I have to leave my shop for colleagues to also relax, since they have no place to sleep. So for the past 3 days, they have been sleeping here, and work too is now hot. Work is still more coming because of the submerged houses. ECG thought it wise to off the lights for safety reasons. So we're asking that government should come to our aid so that they can put things in place for us to get back to our...
Right, so that is the situation at Mepe in the Volta region. My colleague Ivy Setoji brought us that report, how people are sleeping this evening. Quite not a very good spectacle. But let's look for solutions now. And Dr. Komna Donko, you are still here with me. You once served as Minister for Power. Clearly, you understand these matters better than us. The question that has been on the minds of a lot of people is, why don't we have a system where we can conserve the water we are spilling, so that when it gets to a point where our coast of water, the level becomes so low that we'll have energy issues, the reservoir can go and deal with the matter. Is that a viable option going forward?
Well, thank you. You see, the issue has macro dimensions. For most of us as MPs, we are only talking about the micro, the impact in our various constituencies. But the macro issue is the management of the Volta Lake as a whole, right from the source in Ghana to where the Volta enters the sea. What can we do? How about using part of the water for irrigation? How about spilling early if there are indications that water has to be spilled? Unfortunately for us as a people, we are very risk averse. If VRA has started spilling in June, July, and the rain stopped in September, the media and social commentators would have crucified VRA for wasting water. And therefore, VRA will also be conscious as to when they will spill. They wait until it is absolutely necessary. By that time, a lot of harm would have been done. And so it is, you can relate this to hedging in our financial circles. The word hedging has become a taboo subject. because one hedge went wrong. If we spill one time too early, will we crucify VRA? Other than that, the spilling, control spilling, and here I'm talking of control spilling.
Right.
That started in about July, when there were indications, because last year's level of the lake, and as my colleague said, this is taking about 3 years. Anytime the lake level goes beyond 277 feet, we're in trouble.
Yes.
The highest should be around 276 feet. So spilling must bring it to below 276. If we are able to stagger this early enough, then we can avoid part of the disaster downstream.
All right, Doctor, thank you very much. Let me come to Kwame. Kwame, what for you should be the solution going forward?
Yeah, so for me, as we mentioned, there is new technology coming. And, since Kwame Nkrumah constructed this dam, we should be rethinking about new innovations. Now, modern dams are being constructed, passes through Akusi. Can we have any way in terms of connecting it to channel it through irrigation farming? Because one of the objectives of this government is do multi-purpose dam for electricity and then farming. So can we look at that? Can we redesign the modern type of the turbines where we can use to actually harvest the water in terms of reservoir? It's something is doable, provided we are committed. In Ghana, we have seen a lot of fine plans and then, strategies and all that. But when it comes to implementation, that's where the issue is. The issue is. All right. And that is where we are lacking. And then currently, we have the spillage is affecting us, tidal waves is affecting us, and then the lagoon have flooded eastbound. Yeah. And so we, in the Qatar and Afla, we are all in between the lagoon as well as the sea. We double trouble. Okay. So we should be looking at how to solve the sea, the tidal wave, by doing everlasting solution to that.
Thank you very much. Sergi, if you're on the line, you have the final word.
Thank you very much. I think that I would want to assure the people downstream the Volta Dam that we are doing our possible best as an organization and collaborating with all other first-line responders to come to their aid in terms of getting them to safer grounds and trying to do assessment and get some relief for them. But I will also take this medium to urge those who are still at the river banks. If the water hasn't gotten to you yet, it will certainly come, because the rate of spill is still the same and it will continue for quite a while. So you should please move to all the designated safe havens that we have. We have safe havens dotted across all these districts that I have mentioned of. Okay. You can contact your assemblyman or the NADMO zonal coordinator. And if you have difficulties also moving, you could contact any of us and we'll be able to come to assist. We have an emergency operating center set up at the district assembly at Northtown coordinating this. And I would like to put this number out for anybody who is having any difficulty and want assistance. 0291 81 3188. I'll take it again.
Yes.
0291 81 3188. If you call, there's always somebody at the EOC. Obviously,
will respond to your distress call. All right.
So
thank you very much. And that has been Mr. Sergi Amedonu, the Deputy Director General of NADMO. You also heard the Member of Parliament for Pru East, Dr. Kwabena Donkom, also the Member of Parliament for Kita, Kwame Gape, and of course, the Member of Parliament for Ketu Sarabla, Jifa Gomashi. Well, this has been the probe on JoyNews. We'll be looking at the devastation caused by spill waters from the Yakonsombo Dam. Now we are told that it's also affected parts of the Bono East region. And of course, President Akufo-Addo is expected in the parts of the Volta region tomorrow to assess for himself the scale of destruction caused by the spill water. We will keep an eye on this matter. But for now, that's it. You have a good evening. My name is Elton Brobbey. And this has been The Probe on Joy News.